Hello everyone, Lapis here, and welcome to my tier list of everything in Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. To monsters, locales, mechanics, and more. And yeah, I know it's been a while since I finished Sunbreak, but I kinda got distracted with other stuff. And with all the Wilds news as of the time of recording this, I figured I should finally do this video since I did originally plan on doing it after I finished Sunbreak. But, oh well. Now, one last thing before we get into the meat of things. I just want to reiterate that, 1, the only Monster Hunters I've played are Rise and Wild. And second, this tier list is purely my opinion, so don't take it as gospel or get offended, since, you know, everyone's entitled to their own opinions. Also, let me know what your guys' favorite monster is and why. Is it, I don't know, Arzuros, because he's just a bear? Or is it Zenoga, because you find it a fun fight? Let me know in the comments. Alright, let's get into it with our first monster, shall we? Okay, so before we actually get into it, I do have 2 more things I want to talk about. First of all, I figured I should at least explain the rankings. So at the bottom, we got Hell for some very special monsters that should not exist. D, monsters I just don't like at all. C, they're a little more bearable, but I still don't really like them. B is our middle ground, don't really hate them, don't really like them. A, I like them, they're pretty good. S, I really like them, I think they're excellent. And at the top, we got one of the best for my favorite fights in the game and just my favorite monsters. And second of all, I just want to say that I did indeed fight every single monster before solidifying a rank for them. So if I fought them once and didn't really know how I felt, I would fight it again and again until I got what I think would be a valid opinion of the monster. So with that being said, let's get into it. Starting with our first monster in Rise is Great Azuchi. And unlike Great Badass or Wild, Great Azuchi is a fantastic starting monster with an excellent design and a pretty decent fight. It doesn't feel like a moving punching bag like Great Dragras. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it an S, because I love this little guy. And he's one of the better bird wyverns, unlike our next monster. Great Boggi is a monster that exists. That's all I can really say. I can't figure out what his exact purpose is. I guess to teach new players about statuses, like sleep? I don't know. Put him in D. I hate this guy. His fight is so slow as well. Kulu Yaku. Look, I love Kulu. I really do. He's a charming little guy that steals eggs, but I don't really see why he needed to be in Rise. So, a C, I guess, because I still, you know, kinda like him. But he just doesn't do stuff that I wish he did. Like in World, in Master Rank, he could get an explosive rock. I don't think he can even do that in Rise, unfortunately. So yeah, C. Now our last of the starting bird wyverns, Great Boggi. He isn't that different from Great Boggi, but he is faster, and the poison adds a lot. And honestly, I freaking love this guy so much. It's a great monster, and I honestly really do enjoy his fight a lot more. And he has freaking cowboy armor. Like, come on, this dude's great. Get up there and A, buddy. Now for our first bear monster, Fanged Beast. I don't know, whatever you want to call the 3 bear type monsters. Anyway, besides being, you know, just a bear, all charming and stealing your honey, if you have any, it's one of my least favorite fights in the game. I don't really care much for him. Like, I like him, he's just a bear, but his fight is really boring. D. Now, Lagombe is basically just a mobile Arzuros with snowballs. I do like his fight a lot more than Arzuros, not much more, but yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about Lagombe. I think it's funny as hell when it transitions the zones by just sliding away. That's great, but besides that, I don't really have any thoughts about him. C. Now, for our last of the 3 bears, or whatever, is Volvodon. And I absolutely love this guy. He rolls around everywhere. It's great, and his fight is honestly pretty fun. I love him. This guy's A tier. He's so underrated. Why don't people talk about Volvodon more? And now we've reached one of the better bird wyverns, Akhenaten. And honestly, if it wasn't for young Garuga existing, Akhenaten would be my favorite bird wyvern, because it is honestly just such an awesome monster. It's such a fun fight with the way it uses its crest to like charge and slam down. How it, like he can like fold it in there. And the bouncing fireballs, which are so unique, but he honestly doesn't really do that much. And then his fighting master rank is just so much better since he starts to like combo all his moves. I love this bird, and it's just such a shame that he's a starting monster, so he's not as good as he could be. I do wish he was feathered instead of having scales, but it's fine. He still looks amazing. I love him. S tier, baby. Royal Ludroth. Don't really have any thoughts about him. His first wyvern you encounter. He's a big old sponge. I don't really like him. I don't hate him. He's a solid B monster for me. Now Baroth. Baroth's honestly a really good monster, and I think he's a mainstay in Monster Hunter, isn't he? Since he's just a really good introductory monster. He's the first brute wyvern you'll probably fight, so you gotta learn to like not hit the head if you can't reach it. So you gotta aim for other body part. His head is also really hard, so early game you're just gonna bounce off it. And he also covers himself in armor, so you have to learn to break that. He honestly is a really just good introductory monster because he introduces you to so much. Especially since he's also one of the monsters that charges a lot. So yeah, just for being such a good starting monster, he deserves ass. And I really do love Baroth. He's a great monster. Kezu. Why does this guy exist? This guy's terrifying. Why does he look like that? Get him out of here. You can go to hell. Tetranodon. The third amphibian to be added to Monster Hunter. If you don't count, like, the subspecies in that, right? The only other ones are Tetracabra. What's happened there? I might have screwed that up. And Zamtrios. And yeah, Tetranodon is an excellent addition to Rise. I love how he looks, and his like sumo like moveset when he like gets big, it is great, and it's a fairly fun fight. It's just such a shame that knocking him out of his big phase is really easy, and that he didn't get like a subspecies or anything in Sunbreak. Like, I feel like they could have added like a variant where like he has like a hard stomach maybe, so it's not as easy to just knock him out of his second phase. Like, I don't know, cover his stomach in like stones or something. I feel like he could have been a lot better than he is. So I am gonna give him an A. I like him, but I think he could be so much better. Now we're up to one of my favorite monsters Rise has added, which is Bishaten. I love Bishaten. Bishaten? I think he's one of the best additions in Rise. His design and fight are just amazing. Just the way he like moves around on his tail, and how he just uses fruit, especially when he'll like go to chuck a poison or paralysis fruit at you and then look to see if he got you and cover his nose so he doesn't get affected himself. That's great. Bishaten has so much personality as a monster, and I absolutely love him. And you can knock him down and get the fruit. It's great. I absolutely love Bishaten so much. It's such a good monster and is easily one of the best. Words cannot describe how much I love this guy. Alright, let's all be honest with ourselves. Who doesn't love Puke Puke? He's such a charming fella. I mean, look at his big old face. I love this chameleon guy so much. I just wish that his poison changed when he ate stuff. Like, if he ate a nitro shroom, his poison would be like a poison blast that knocks you back maybe. And if he eats like, I don't know, fire herbs, like it would be maybe inflict you with fire as well. I don't know. I wish there was just a bit more to like the stuff he ate, but yeah, besides that, he's an A. And now we've reached the mudfish, which was quite a surprise to be in Rise, and not a happy one since he's one of the worst monsters in the world, but then it was quite a surprise because he's actually a really good fight in Rise. Like, they made him so much better, and I actually like his fight. It's such an improvement. I'm gonna give him an A. It's actually such an improvement, and he turns into an actual fight. Besarios. Somnicanth. Now, unlike Great Baggy, Somnicanth is an actual good sleep monster with an amazing design. I love how Somnicanth looks, and how it swims like an otter sometimes and like cracks a flash shell or an explosion thing. I love it so much, and you can sometimes catch it singing something. I forgot what it sings exactly. I think it might be the area theme, but Somnicanth is a pretty good monster. I like it. I'm gonna give it an A. It's good. It's good. Alright, so this is really biased, but I freaking love Rathian. It's one of my favorite fights. It was probably the monster that really taught me to read the monster, if that makes sense. Like, I think it's one of the best monsters to help people learn to play Monster Hunter, because it just has excellent choreography in its attacks. And I don't know, it's just a monster that really taught me how to play Monster Hunter. I absolutely love Rathian so much. It's one of the best for me. Alright, Barioth. Now, I don't know if it was just Barioth in World, but I didn't like him at all in World, and it was probably because he slid all over the place. But in Rise, I actually freaking love Barioth. It is such a fun fight, and yeah, it's probably because of Rise's tempo and Courage Hammer and Water Strike, but I have such a fun fight with Barioth in Rise. It's honestly my favorite out of the three. Whatever the trio is called, Naga, Barioth, and Tigrex, it's my favorite of the three in Rise. Like, I can't believe it. I have so much fun with it. I'm gonna give it an S. I love this guy in Rise. Toby Kadachi. Now, Toby's one of my favorite monsters from World. Like, I fell in love with him instantly. I love his, like, squirrel, glider, snake, beam, whatever you wanna call it, I don't know. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they put some of Viper Toby's moves into Rise Toby, which is just really neat. I love that. The only thing I wish from him is that he had more moves where he actually uses his wing flaps. Because whenever I fight him, it feels like he hardly does it. And it feels like he doesn't jump on walls as much. Or like, I wish he did more when he jumped on walls, because he kind of just jumps on a wall and hangs there. And it's like, oh, you can just knock him off really easy and get, you know, a free knockdown. And I kind of do miss, like, him charging up, but with the tempo of Rise and with it being so much faster, it does make sense that he doesn't really need to charge up as much. But I do love Toby, so I'm gonna give him an A. Now, Magnamalo, the flagship of Rise. And this guy's pretty controversial from what I know. Like, a lot of people don't like him. A lot of people like him. I think it's mainly because of his design. It's a bit weird. Like, I can see why people hate it. I can see why people like it. I think it's very middle ground, right? Like, I think the best way to explain it would be like half mainline, half frontier, if that makes sense. At least that's what I saw like a few people say. But if just ignoring his design, his fight is super, super fun. I absolutely love his fight. And I loved just versing him when the Monster Hunter Rise demo first came out. And it was super hard, but I beat him. And I absolutely adore his fight. It is the best thing about him. Not to mention his theme is actually really, really flippin' good. I love him. He's an S for me. Anjanath. Good old Anjanath. I would go as far to call Anjanath like the second flagship of World, right? He was the first monster ever shown when World was announced. Yeah, he's a damn good brute wyvern. I love him. And I do have very fond memories of him in World, because everyone I knew got stuck on him. But how is he in Rise? Well, yeah, he's a decent monster. That's all I really have to say. His wing flaps still confuse the hell out of me. I don't know why he has them. But yeah, he's a solid B monster for me. I think he would be A in World, but in Rise, yeah, solid B. Nagakuga, the Black Panther, or whatever. Why'd I do that? Yeah, Nagakuga's a cool monster. I like him. Everyone knows what he does. Does his tail flip, does his spin, his little dash with his arm strikes. Yeah, I like him. Hey, because I prefer Barrier more. Mizu. Do I even have to say Mizu is one of the best monsters? Like, everything about Mizu is flippin' amazing. I love it. I just wish it was in Iceborne and it was in the Coral Highlands. Or whatever the area was called. So yeah, Mizu's one of the best. Put him up there. Love this guy. One of the best monsters added to Rise has to be the Limb Reaper himself, Gos Harag. I think it goes without saying he's one of the coolest monsters ever added. Like, just look at him. He's amazing. I love this guy so much. Just how he creates the ice blades, and then he can like throw them as well. And if you get pinned by him, he'll do the slow walk up to you and wham! It's such a good monster. And it's an actual crime that he didn't get a variant or anything in Sunbreak. What was Capcom doing? I don't understand why he didn't get anything. But at the same time, that kind of just makes him all the more special that there's not another version of him. I love this guy, and I really hope to see him return in Wilds, maybe. Rathalos, the flagship of all Monster Hunter. How is he in Rise? Well, he's really good. They actually made his fight so much fun. I love him. What else can I say? But he is S, because, of course, Rathian and Rathalos do have better versions. Almudron. Now, I remember when Rise first came out, I don't think people liked him. Like, because he's not the easiest fight the first time you fight him. Like, he has this really long body, and he's really mobile. And yeah, I had trouble with him the first few times, but once I got used to his fight, he became one of my absolute favorite monsters. Fight-wise, I loved his design, like, immediately. Just this big old catfish. He looks phenomenal. It's great. And then, you know, you have his fight, and the way he uses mud to create, like, structures and send just flowing mud at you is amazing. And then you remember Geratidos is also in this game. And it's just really funny. Like, why even put Geratidos in this game if you're gonna put just a better mud monster in? Like, it's crazy. And honestly, if it wasn't for Gos Harag, Almudron would absolutely be my new favorite addition to Rise. Or third, because Bishaten. But yeah, the only thing I wish Almudron had was, one, a turf war with Mizu, where, you know, Mizu gets dirty and Almudron gets clean. That's funny as hell, come on. And two, just a better looking armor set. I'm sorry, but I do not like how it looks. But he is one of the best monsters to be added to Rise, in my opinion. I love him so much. Zenoga, yeah, the first place winner of the Hunter's Choice poll, which, let's be honest, wasn't really a surprise. If you've played Monster Hunter, you know about Zenoga. Like, my god, it's crazy how popular this guy is. And I don't really care for him in Rise. I absolutely loved him in Iceborne. I don't know why I don't really like him in Rise, like fight-wise. I preferred World's fight a lot more. So, and I just don't really get excited about fighting him in Rise. Like, he's a cool monster, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I just don't really like fighting him in Rise. So I'm gonna give him a B. Alright, now for Tigress. My least favorite of the trio. Just because it's a really annoying fight the first times you fight him. Plus every time I return to fighting him after a while, with his constant charging, which can sometimes feel a little baloney when you're not used to it. But yeah, whenever I return to fighting him, it's terrible. But once I get used to it, it's honestly not that bad. You just gotta play his fight as aggressive as him. And then it's a fairly fun fight. But I don't really look forward to ever fighting Tigress. So here's a C. Diablos is always a pretty solid monster, in my opinion. My experience. And I quite like fighting him. His new moves are neat. He's a solid B monster, honestly. Don't really look forward to fighting him, but when I do, it's pretty decent. It's fun, but yeah, I just don't look forward to fighting him. So it's D. With there not being many insect, arachnids, and whatever monsters in general, which is quite sad to be honest, Kadaki makes an excellent addition to Rise and the series as a whole. This big old spider covers herself in web to act as armor and can also use web to move around, which is pretty cool. Can't forget about her offspring either, that try and help her out in the fight by trying to web you up. That's neat. She also uses fire, so all in all, Kadaki is a pretty cool monster with an okay fight. I think it's a solid day, I like it. And while we're on the subject of bugs and that, I just want to say that it's such a shame that there's not more bug monsters, but I get it, it can be hard, like animating like all the legs and all that, and it's probably a pain to just make them if they don't have the same skeleton. But also want them to take more inspiration from bugs. I mean, just look at Astalos, right? He's flippin' awesome. Just his whole design. So even if we don't get actual insect monsters, it would be awesome for other types of wyverns to get insect-inspired designs, like, I don't know, a centipede snake wyvern? Actually, animating all his legs would be how. I don't know, maybe a rhino beetle fanged wyvern. That'd be neat. Charges you, throws you up. Actually, that'd be really neat in Rise with the wire bugs, because you just wire bug back. Yeah, I would love that. Give me a beetle fanged wyvern. Oh, Rajang. After all the madness and world, like getting beamed from another zone, or him seeing you from 2 zones over and just running towards you at full sprint, was terrifying. So I was kind of scared to see him in Rise, but honestly, he's really easy in Rise. And not to mention how terrible invaders are in Rise with how they work, since they just don't really invade. They don't pose a threat to you. They don't actually like impede on your hunt. With wyvern riding, it's more like a benefit for them to be there than anything. Especially since Rajang is one of the best mounts in the game, if not the best. Like, it's just really unfortunate to see how invaders are in Rise. Like, they're not a threat, and it just really sucks because their whole thing has basically been taken away, and it's just a benefit now. If you see them, they're like, oh, Rajang's here. Best mount in the game? Yeah, free, like, 5k damage, or however much he can do. Take him in Shrine Ruins, for example. The amount of times I've seen him just sleeping at the top of that one mountain, like a whole hunt, is insane. It's just such a shame what's happened to invaders in Rise. Still, Rajang himself is a easy fight in Rise. It's fun though. It's an A, because I do like Rajang, but yeah, he's just really easy. Kushala. Alright. So I think everyone who played World can agree that Kushala can suck absolute ass. What a terrible monster he was in World, right? I absolutely hated him with a passion. So having to fight him again in Rise originally had me worried as all hell, just because of how bad he was in World. But to my surprise, they majorly improved Kushala so much and gave him an actual amazing fight. And all it took was for him to not constantly be flying around and summon a million flippin' tornadoes. And he's instantly, like, my favorite fight out of the 3 elders. He's so much fun now. Like, I can't believe how good of a fight he actually is now. I love him, but he's an S for me. Alright, Chameleos. Chameleos was actually one of the monsters I really wanted when Iceborne was announced, because I thought he would fit perfectly in the ancient forest. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. But on the other hand, we got him in the next game, Rise, and man, I love this goofy dude. I really do. Even though his fight isn't the most challenging, it's quite easy, actually. But I love him. I really do. The only thing that I hate about him is his theme. Like, you can't, it's so muffled most of the time, even when you break his horn and you can see him. Like, if I can see him, like, make the theme louder. If I can't see him, quiet it down. It kind of sucks, but oh well, it is what it is, and I get it. I get why it does it, and I think some of his magic is lost, because in the old games, I'm pretty sure he could just go invisible and leave the zone, which just sounds hilarious. I kind of wish he did it in Rise, or if he does, I haven't seen it. But anyway, I love Chameleos, and he gets an S. Alright, the final of the 3 elder brothers, or whatever they're called. I'm just gonna call them brothers, why not? Teostra is really fun in Rise, and he was originally my favorite when the game first came out. But after returning to Sunbreak, after however long my break was, I had so much trouble getting used to his fight again, and you have no idea how infuriating it was. Because I got really good at his fight, and then I come back and I'm really bad at it. But I got used to it again, and I still really love his fight. But as I said before, Kushala is now my favorite of the 3. He's really great, and I'm also gonna put him in S. And that means all 3 of them are in S. That's great that they're all good. Ah, the B-52 bomber. Betelgeuse, or Bego, whatever you want to call him, is one of my absolute favorite monsters from World, as he just made high rank so much more fun. I'll never forget the first time that I got bombed out of absolutely nowhere, and then continued to throughout all of high rank. It was so special, and he was such a threat, because he made high rank, like, terrifying, like, at the start when you're not used to him. Like, it was so good. So how is he in Rise? Well, it's really sad. He feels like a shell of his former self with how invaders work in Rise. He won't actively go after you, and he doesn't randomly drop his bombs anymore, which immediately takes his threat level down. Instead, we have a pattern in his attacks now, and all in all, it's just a really crappy fight. Like, it just really, really sucks, his fight in Rise. And he's one of the easiest monsters. Like, he poses no threat at all, basically. Not even his anomaly version. Like, it's so sad to see Bagel in this state. So, unfortunately, I have to give him a D. Like, I absolutely love Bagel, but he absolutely sucks ass in Rise. Ibushi. Alright, now, I'm not biased at all. I freaking love Ibushi. I think he looks dope. His fight, in my opinion, better than Nawa. I enjoy it a lot more. So yeah, I'm gonna give him an S. I love this guy. On to Nawa now, which I used to absolutely despise, which honestly is a bit weird because it's just a more complex Ibushi. But default Nawa can go away. I don't like it. It's a D. All Mother Nawa, on the other hand, I've actually come to like more because it's just a better Nawa. But yeah, I still don't like it. I'm still a bit iffy on it, but I do like it way better than normal Nawa. It's a B for me. So Nawa is a D, and All Mother Nawa is a B. Now for our last monster to be added to base Rise. Not our last monster in Rise in general, we still have the Apexes, But Crimson Glow Valstrax. Now, since I never fought original Valstrax, I can't compare them at all. But I think I can safely say that Crimson Glow Valstrax is one of the best fights in Rise. It just doesn't get boring the whole fight and always keeps you on your toes with how much damage he can do. He can absolutely mess you up, and my god, it's just fantastic. He absolutely destroyed my shit the first few times I fought him. Like, it took me at least like 6 hunts to finally get him, but oh my god, after learning his fight, it's instantly one of the best. It is so good. His theme, how he looks, his roar, his armor, it just, everything about him is amazing. And he's one of the best. Apex Arzuros. I already shared my thoughts on normal Arzu, and I practically have the same thoughts about Apex. So, yeah, a D. He's not that different, he hits harder, that's about it. Apex Mizu is a fun fight. Throws out explosive bubbles and can also inflict hellfire. I think it was hellfire. Oh god, now I don't remember. Well, and he also gained some new moves. It's a harder but fun fight. I still enjoy normal Mizu a lot more. It's A. Apex Rathian is a harder variant that gains poisonous thorns on its tail, which it can fire out and drop during some attacks. It's a fun fight, though I still prefer regular Rathian. I just don't have as much fun with Apex Rathian. It's harder, but not that much harder. Apex Mizu! Wait, I already said Mizu. Apex Rathalos is just a straight up improvement of normal Rathalos. And I absolutely love it. It's my most hunted Apex monster, and I'm putting it as one of the best, because it's just a straight up better normal Rathalos. Apex Diablos. I absolutely adore fighting Apex Diablos, especially once it gets really mad, because it's just turns into an absolutely insane fight. And if you're not careful, he can just seriously mess you up, especially with his roar and then instant charge. Like, it is crazy, but I absolutely adore Apex Diablos, and I think it's such an improvement over normal Diablos. It's one of the best. Apex Zenoga, he's green now, is definitely the hardest out of the Apexes with his new moves and combos. But he does offer a really fun fight. It always keeps you on your toes, and I really do like it. It's not one of my favorites, but I'll put him up there in S. It's a good fight. I love it. The first monster of Sunbreak, Daimyo Hermita. I love this guy so much. I mean, he's just a giant hermit crab. How can you not love him? He's got his giant claws, his shell of a monoblos. It's great. It's so great how he uses another monster's skull as its shell. Like, how awesome is that? And yeah, his fight's easy as hell, and maybe it's because I use hammer and just knock him out constantly. But I absolutely adore the crab. Please give us more crab monsters. Maybe even a lobster. I don't know. But it's one of the best for me. I love this crab so much. Put him up there. Blood Orange Bisherton, or as I like to call him Bub for short, is just Bisherton if he was an absolute psychopath. Like, what is wrong with this guy? Instead of being a silly little guy with fruit, he has explosive acorns that he can spin. Like, what? He's just absolutely crazy. I swear he, like, smokes those acorns in his spare time. Like, he needs some rehab. Or just straight up put him in a mental hospital. But his fight is pretty good, and he looks really good. I still think it's missing something. I can't really figure out what it is. It's definitely something normal Bisherton had, but he is a nice variant of normal Bisherton, so I am gonna give him a B. But yeah, this guy's insane. Lock him up. The first of the three lords that we fight is Garangolm, and man, what a cool monster he is. I absolutely love his design, being inspired by Frankenstein. Not to mention, he's a pretty big beast wyvern in general, which is really cool. You know, he's got that big old Frankenstein head. His whole ecology of being a pretty peaceful monster most of the time is awesome. And just how he uses his sap to coat himself in different elements, which I guess could represent how Frankenstein's monster is made of different parts. And if that's the case, that's really cool. I think Capcom have done an amazing job with Garangong. Like, just being this slow but hard-hitting monster, especially when he gets really mad. Like, his pin move is absolutely crazy if you don't have any wire bugs. The only thing I can really complain about is that he feels like he's missing something, and I can't really figure out what it is. Whether it's him not using his sap enough, or maybe it's because the back half of him is like obsolete. But yeah, I can't figure out what it is, and it is keeping him from being one of the best for me, because he's just missing like one crucial thing, it feels like. But I absolutely love him. He's a great monster, so I'm gonna put him in S. He's really good. Unfortunately, our final crab of Sunbreak. And also our first monster that gives bleed status, which he can inflict with his razor-like claws, which then can extend even further to give him more range. Which is really cool. Not to mention the skull he carries on his back, which he starts off with, that lets him fire a beam of water. Yeah, let's call it water. Whatever you do, don't destroy it. You don't want to see what's under there. But overall, it's just a straight up improvement of Daimyo Hermitoa. I will admit that I didn't like his fight at all the first few times I fought him. Like, it just took me a while to get used to his moves. But once I did get used to his fight and moves, I really, really like him. And I think it's a really fun addition. And I really want more crabs. Please add more crab monsters, because the 2 crabs that we have are awesome, and we need more of them. Aurora Somnicanth is the worst of the 4 new variants they added to Sunbreak. Like, its design is okay, fits in with its environment, but its fight absolutely sucks and isn't enjoyable at all. Like, I just don't have fun with it, and it's not as charming as regular Somnicanth at all. So I'm gonna give it a D. It just really sucks, and I think they just could have done something way better. Moving on to the second of the 3 lords, and a fantastic addition to the Fanged Wyverns, is Lunagaron. Now at first he doesn't seem so special, right? Just a regular crystalline ice looking wolf. Nothing too special. In fact, when he was first revealed, I don't think people really liked him that much, because it just seemed like such a regular monster. Or whatever the reason was, I don't remember. How long ago did Lunagaron get revealed? But once he came out, people absolutely loved Lunagaron because, well, first impressions can be deceiving. Because once he gets mad, he enters his, like, second form, where he, like, charges up his ice, and then becomes bipedal and just, well, he's a werewolf. He becomes a werewolf, and he just becomes an absolute menace. It's absolutely one of my favorite new monsters they added, with just how ferocious he becomes with his new moveset, which is just amazing. But just like Garangong, he is missing something. But unlike Garangong, I actually know what it is, and it's all in his first form. It just feels so empty compared to his second form. Like, it is just so bad with how simple it is. And I honestly just get kind of sad when I knock him out of his second form, because I just don't want to fight his first form. It's like, oh, now I have to deal with a pretty terrible fight when I was honestly having fun with his fight. It just sucks that his first form is so bad. I wish they did more with it, but at the same time, I can understand what they were going for. But yeah, if it wasn't for his first form being so bad, he honestly would be one of the best. But I'm gonna put him in S. If his first form didn't suck, he would be one of the best. Astalos is the third of the Fated 4 that I have fought so far. Just one left. But aside from that, Astalos is absolutely phenomenal in Rise. He looks absolutely amazing, especially when he flares up, and his fight is one of my favorites. Everything about him is great. I love how ferocious he is, especially when you like beat him and he tries and do one last attack. That just goes to show how aggressive and ferocious of a monster he is. He's absolutely amazing, and he's one of the best in the game. Seregios, or should I say Steve, is honestly a pretty simple fight, as he doesn't have many moves, but it works really well and is honestly one of the most fun fights in Sunbreak for me. It just has a really nice tempo to it, not to mention his theme is amazing. And he himself looks amazing as well, especially when he flares up and looks just like an angry pinecone. It's amazing. I love him so much. Also, I didn't know this, but apparently Seregios was a flagship. That's cool, but yeah, he's a damn good monster with just a really enjoyable fight. Get on up there, Steve. The third variant that they added to Sunbreak is Magma Almadron, or Magmadron, and you know, he still uses his mud, except it's like hot now, and he can summon hot pillars and send flowing lava at you, or hot mud, whatever it is. And yeah, he's much smaller than normal Almadron, which is really neat, and he doesn't move around as much as, or no, he doesn't go underground as much as normal Almadron. It's a decent fight. I don't really have too many thoughts about it, but I do like him. I think he looks really good. It's just a shame that 3 of the 4 variants are fire based. Like, I feel like they could have also done a snow Almadron. He uses a snowball. Maybe he, instead of doing snow structures, he does like little snow pitfall traps or something. I don't know. It's just a shame that 3 of the 4 are fire, but it's still a decent fight, and I do quite like him. So I'm gonna put him in A. Espinas. Now, when this guy was revealed, people lost their absolute minds, because Espinas is the first Frontier monster to make it to a mainline series, I'm pretty sure, which, from what I can understand, is a big deal. And I just want to make it clear that I know really nothing about Frontier besides one monster called like Barulugara or something. It's like a big leech monster that can suck your blood or something and can spray poison, I think. I don't remember exactly. And that Frontier just has some insane monsters in general in it. And that Espinas is basically the flagship for Frontiers, and yeah, I can see it, I understand it, and yeah, he is absolutely amazing in Rise. His theme is great, he looks absolutely great, I love green and red, and his fight is super fun. He looks absolutely fantastic. I already said that, didn't I? Oh god. Oh yeah, his fireballs can inflict 3 elements. What is that about? Fire, poison, paralysis? What? That's insane. It's just such a blast whenever I get to fight him. And it's such a good fight. It's one of the best. First of all, can I just say poor Gossarag? Like, what did he ever do to deserve getting the shit beat out of him? But anyway, Gore Magala. People were so excited for Gore to be back, and yeah, I can see why. He looks absolutely amazing, especially his wings. Like, just how they flow and look. It's great, and yeah, Gore's a fun fight. It's just overall a very awesome monster. I like it. It's a solid S for me. The Frenzy is also a neat little mechanic. Pyre-Kadaki. Now, at first, Pyre-Kadaki is really cool, using webs connecting to its offspring as fuses for its explosions and all that, but at the same time, almost all of Pyre's attacks also blast. So it's a bit weird for it to use blast and then also use the spiders as blast. I kind of wish it was just one. And the more I fight Pyre-Kadaki, it's more like, nah, because normal Kadaki is already fire, and I feel like Pyre could have just been the master rank version of normal Kadaki. Like, let's say the Pyrantulas are the next stage in arachnoids, and lets them explode, you know? I don't know. I think it's an okay variant, but it could have just been a master rank version of Arachno Kadaki. Or, I don't know, maybe have it be a different element, like, I don't know, put it in a snowy area and make it so it focuses on its armor more and have its webs, like, hardened by getting frozen or something. I don't know, but Pyakadaki is, I don't really like it, okay? It's a C for me. And now we're on to the final of the Three Lords, and the flagship of Sunbreak, Malzeno. And, oh my god, this monster. Like, I was gonna get Sunbreak either way, but after fighting him in the demo, like, he absolutely sold Sunbreak for me. It is one of my favorite fights. He is so cool, especially when he enters his second form, like all the other Three Lords. And, oh, just the whole vampire aesthetic and inspiration is phenomenal. It is so good. The fight is amazing. He looks amazing. His armor's great. His weapons look great. I love Malzeno so much. He's one of the best. Just, my god. Shigaru Magala, or Shaggy for short. Being the adult form of Gore, you know it's gonna be a way more difficult fight, and that it is. In fact, he's one of the monsters that I still struggle with from time to time. But, you know, in the making of this video, and having to fight him a lot again, I have gotten a lot better at his fight. And yeah, I find it really enjoyable. And, you know, he just looks amazing with his golden form. It really is just a improved Gore Magala fight. I'm still gonna give it an S though. The true big bad of Sunbreak, Geismagorn. And oh my god, what a final fight he is. Well, not final fight, but, you know, a big siege type monster. And my god, he is absolutely amazing. He looks great. His fight is actually great. I really enjoy his fight. How he looks with the, like, crystallized blood, or is it curios? I forgot what it is. And then it can, like, explode as well. And then his second stage is great when he starts climbing the walls and you have to shoot him down. Oh, it's a really good fight. It's a really good monster. The build up to it was spectacular, especially the quest right before it. My god, I love Geismagorn. He's one of the best. Alright, I think we can all say that it isn't surprising that Furious Rajang is here in Sunbreak. I mean, we already had normal Rajang. We may as well throw Furious in. So, how is he? Well, obviously he's going to be harder than normal Rajang, but he's only going to really be difficult the first time you fight him because you're not used to him. But he is still better than normal Rajang, and I enjoy his fight a lot more. His new moves are great, especially his, like, thunder dash spinny thing. It's so funny. I love him. And, you know, when he throws a big rock at you, you know, it's really terrifying the first time that happened. Like, how do I dodge this? What is going on? But yeah, he is better, but I still do find him easy. So, I'm gonna give him an A. Scorned Magnamalo, a variant or deviant, I don't know. Anyway, Scorned is absolutely insane. Like, first time you fight him, you run up to him and he pulls off Magnamalo's super move. What? I just got here and you're doing that? Like, he opens a fight with such a bang and then it just escalates more and more when he powers up again and then again. Like, it's such an overall improvement over base Magnamalo. It is insane with all his new moves, and he just looks so much better. Like, he's one of the best, without a doubt. It is so good, and it just improves upon normal Magnamalo so much. So with base Bagel being so bad, I wasn't really looking forward to Seething Bagel, because I was like, oh god, more Raz Bagel. But it turned out to actually be one of my favorite fights in Sunbreak. Like, it drastically improves upon base Bagel. Unfortunately, I can't really compare him to his Iceborne version, because I only ever fought it like once, since there's no reason to ever fight him again. Especially since I didn't make him invade in Iceborne. But in Sunbreak, he can appear anywhere, which is really nice. Thank you for that. And the new moves they gave Seething Bagel are flippin' amazing, let me tell you that. Oh my god. But yeah, I absolutely love Seething Bagel. His bombs still only drop in a pattern, but with his bombs being bigger in Seething, it's not really a problem. And yeah, I really like it. It's a really fun fight for me. It's one of the best. Gold Rathian. You know, it's not surprising that gold and silver got added to Sunbreak, but when it did get announced, I was a bit worried, because I didn't like gold in Iceborne that much. But in Sunbreak, I really like it. It's a fun fight. I have fought it so much in the last like couple of days, and yeah, it can be a pain, silver and gold, when they're hard before they get real mad. You always aim to like break that Rathian and Rathlos's head, right? But yeah, it's just a straight up upgrade to base Rathian. So yeah, it's one of the best. My thoughts on silver are pretty much the same as gold, just an overall improvement over normal Rathlos. So yeah, let's put it up there at the top. Go with gold. Going up there. Lucent Nagakuga is an excellent fight. It's just a better Nagakuga. It's really fun. I love it. The invisibility isn't too difficult to deal with after the first like 2 times you fight him. Yeah, it's a really good fight. I'm gonna put it on S. Flaming Espinas. Whew, he is so much harder than normal Espinas, as its fireballs now replace its paralysis with defense down, and combine that with his new moves and combos, he can seriously mess you up. But overall, it does end up being a really fun, fast-paced fight, and yeah, it is an improvement over base Espinas, but I do like base Espinas just slightly more, and it is due to the colors. I just like how normal Espinas looks so much more, but Flaming Espinas is, fight-wise, is better than normal Espinas, so it's up there as one of the best. Alright, Violent Mizu. Now, I mentioned this when I fought Violet originally, but I'll say it again. So, I didn't actually watch the announcement for Title Update 2 or 3, whichever one it was. I just saw the renders posted on Twitter, and thought it was a poison variant. I mean, look at it! You're telling me this doesn't look like poison variant the first time I saw it? So, you know, when I first got into fight, and he threw explosive homing bubbles at me, you know, I was a bit disappointed he wasn't poisoned, but at the same time, I was also surprised as all hell. Because, I'm sorry, what? Bubbles at home? And yeah, he's also fire / blast, whatever, but basically the same thing. And yeah, it sucks because there's so many fire monsters, right? But Violet Mizu is such an enjoyable fight. I really like it, and everything about it's honestly really good. I love the purple. It's one of the best. Chaotic Gore Magala. What the hell? Why is it? First of all, that opening scene is so sad, but aside from that, Chaotic Gore is such an amazing fight. It is one of the best. I do prefer it over normal Gore and Shigara, because it's kind of a mixture of both. It's great. The unstable energy in that, and you know, the fight feels like a good thing because it lives in pain and we're putting it out of its misery. It's a good fight, and I really like Chaotic. Just the whole concept is really cool, that we get to fight a Gore that, you know, was denied its evolution into Shigara. Velkhana. the flagship of Iceborne. And all I gotta say is, why is it here? Like, don't get me wrong, I love Volcana. It was one of my favorite fights in Iceborne. But, god, I was not excited when it was announced for Sunbreak at all. And then fighting it, it just feels so out of place. And I'm just not a big fan of it in Sunbreak. Like, yeah, the first few times I fought him, it was really difficult. I couldn't get used to the tempo of the fight, but after getting used to it, I still just don't enjoy the fight. I'm like, why is it here? It didn't need to be here. It's a D for me. Like, it just feels so out of place. Amatsu is one of those monsters that I've always heard about, but really knew nothing about besides that it basically flies similar to how Ibushi and Nawa do. In fact, Amatsu is just a straight up better version of both of them combined. And his fight is pretty amazing. It's just spectacular, and it's a pretty fun fight as well. Not to mention the way that they incorporated bugs into the quest is just really cool. Like, there's this one move where he flies you up into a giant wind funnel if you get hit by it, and you have to bug out of it. They also added the old sound effects for pickups, which are just so nice. I absolutely love that little jingle. And if you bring Utsushi into a quest, he can just go off and get an Apex Zenoga that you can actually wyvern ride. Both of you have to get on it to even wyvern ride it, which is pretty cool. And if he isn't there, I'm pretty sure it's just a random Elder Dragon that appears, like in the All-Mother fight. Overall though, Amatsu is a spectacular monster and is absolutely one of the best. Like, the whole fight is just amazing. So, Risen Chameleos is just a straight up improvement over normal Chameleos. It's a bit faster, it has new moves, and I personally really like it. It's not one of my favorites, but I do still like it, so it's an S. Risen Kushala is one of my absolute favorite fights in the game. Like, Kushala was already an improvement over World, and then Risen Kushala is an improvement over Rise Kushala, and it's like, they made it even better. Like, it is one of my favorite fights. So to see Risen Kushala just take it up a notch is absolutely fantastic. It's one of the best. Risen Teostra. Don't really got much to say about it. It's fun. It's an improvement over base Teostra. I love how he looks. He's S. Risen Valstrax. Oh my god. If you thought normal Crimson Glow was amazing, you're not ready for Risen Valstrax. It is such a good fight. It's better than Risen Kushala, that's for sure. Like, the new moves are insane. The uppercut? What? Like, oh my god. It is amazing, and a really fun fight. One of the best. Risen Shaggy is easily the hardest fight in this game for me. Like, oh my god. It feels like I hardly ever get a break in it. And, you know, it doesn't help that I use hammer, so I always have to aim for the head. The fight would be like 100% easier if I used, like, say, dual blades and always aimed for its tail, right? But yeah, he hits like an absolute truck. But I absolutely love him. And I will say, how he looks before he powers up, I love the look way better than normal Shaggy. Like, still having like dark tones from, like, say, gore just looks so much better. And I love it. It's one of the best for me. It's a hard, challenging fight, but once I get over it, it's gonna be really fun. And we have reached the final monster of Sunbreak, Primordial Malzeno. And man, is it a good one. I already love Malzeno, so when a variant was announced, I was so excited to see what they would do, and oh boy, did they not disappoint. Primordial is easily my favorite monster to come out of Sunbreak. The fight is absolutely brutal at first, because I went in expecting a lot of just normal Malzeno moves, and then it hits me with a shield charge using its wing, and then proceeds to stab the shit out of me with its tail, like it's using lance. Like, what the hell? I love this guy so much, and I won't talk about the rest of the fight in case anyone watching hasn't fought it, because I really think it's something that you just have to experience for yourself. But one thing I wish they did was give Primordial its own theme, because regular Malzeno's theme just doesn't really fit it at the start of the fight, which kinda sucks. But besides that, it's absolutely perfect, and just what a way to end Sunbreak. They knocked it out of the park with Primordial. It's easily my favorite monster out of all of Rise and Sunbreak. I love it so goddamn much. And with that, we have listed every single monster in Sunbreak. Now, of course, they're not all in order. I'll quickly fix the order in each tier, and I'll see you guys once I've done that. Okay, I've done it. I think, yeah, I'm happy with this order. I think everything is where it should be. Of course, this list might change in the future the more I fight some monsters, or after I return from a break. But for now, this is my list, and I'm happy with it. But this is gonna be the end of this video. Originally, I did want everything to be in one video, but with this already being over an hour long, I figured I should just split it into 2 parts. Now, I am gonna take just a little break before I start working on the next part, as I made the editing process for this video an absolute nightmare. I don't even really want to talk about it. And I just want to rewrite some of my thoughts on some of the mechanics. But anyway, thank you all for watching this far. If you did like the video, make sure to leave a like and a comment. And if you want to get notified for when the next part comes out, you can hit that subscribe button if you want. But for now, that's gonna be it. Bye bye!